it is really sad, and it's really an experience of a heartbreak. It's a heartbreak that you've lived through for many, many, many years. And now the idea is to stop living from the survival mode, to soften the survival mode. The triggers are going to soften the more you heal the root. So this work is about going to the root of why you were wired in this way, and to build a new foundation for yourself so that your nervous system can begin to rewire, so that you start to build safety inside and you no longer begin to search like that and constantly monitor everything. Welcome to Deep Within. On this show, we dive deep into the nervous system, emotional healing, and transformation from within the body. When I started my personal development journey, it was all in the mind, doing affirmations, visualizations, listening to endless motivational videos. And I found that this approach, without actually getting my body on board, only left me in deeper shame and distress. So this is actually how I discovered somatic body-based healing. My name is Marina Yanai Treiner, and I am the Compassionate Somatic Coach. I'm gentle, sensitive, and I love deep conversations. I'm so excited and so glad you're here, so we can feel like we're together in our own little bubble of deep talks. The cycle of always seeking external validation is extremely exhausting, and it just fries our nervous system. A lot of people teach about the cycle from a place of you don't feel worthy. And so because you don't feel worthy, you're always trying to fill your cup and feel more worthy, or feel good or accepted or desired or chosen through this. I'd like to talk about it a little bit differently. I think that this is true for some people. And for some people, it's more about seeking safety externally because your safety was conditional when you were a child. And what I mean by that is children look for safety through connection. This is how they maintain their safety, because they can't create safety, right? A child is completely dependent on their caregivers, and that's where they actually experience safety. And if a caregiver is inconsistent, they're not going to feel safe. It's going to feel like an up and down roller coaster. Now, for years, I was hearing about how an anxious attachment style, meaning that you're always looking for that cue of rejection, like that text that is telling you, you know what, I can't hang out, or the person who ghosts you and disappears from a date. All of these kind of avoidant people in your life that reject you in some way, or like in your career, you get rejected, a client says no, you don't get the raise that you wanted. All of these different cues, I knew that they're coming from an inconsistent caregiver, but I never really applied it to myself. I couldn't understand that until it was really shown to me in my face. And that's why I want to give you a very concrete example from my own life. And when you listen to this, I don't want you to listen with your head, your ears, your mind, your brain. I want you to feel this in your body. I want it to reach the deepest sensations in your body so that you can feel the resonance. You can feel if this applies to you or not. If you feel something, if you feel a constriction, if you feel moved, if you feel sadness or anger, you will know that this also applies to you, that this is something to look into in your life. And it will change your life if this is the case for you, because this is an incredibly exhausting pattern. It takes away your life force, your energy, and it repeats everywhere. If you have this with a caregiver, if you grew up like this, you need to know about it, because seeing that, like really recognizing it, it's going to change your life. It's going to help you stop that seeking of external validation. Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to give you an example from my own life. And many of my clients resonate with this, so I want you to feel into it in your body. My mother and I were very close. She was loving. She was caring. I could feel her care. I could feel her love. I could feel that she's not narcissistic, that she wants to be there for me. And she was. Many times she was there for me. She showed up for me. She really saw me. We really had a beautiful connection. What a gift. The problem was this. My mother could get very easily overwhelmed. She had a lot of unprocessed trauma. She was very, very self-aware, but she wasn't doing the work around this trauma. She wasn't going to the root. And any time this was awakened in her, she would disconnect. And this was my whole childhood, very, very painful, my teen years, my college years, my whole life, where something I said or did could awaken her trauma, or it could be just her overwhelm in life. She would get overwhelmed. She would get scared. Something was stressful in her life. And her way of dealing with it was to kind of, build a little hole, crawl into a hole and disappear. So she would get disconnected from her own self, and she would get disconnected from me. Now, as an adult, it continues to show up. If I share anything that triggers her into her own life, she does that. She pulls away. She pulls away from connection. It's not because she doesn't love me. It's not because she doesn't want to be connected. It's a way to protect herself. It's a way to avoid feeling the pain in her own body. It has nothing to do with me, seemingly. But my experience of this is a roller coaster. One moment, there is connection, aka safety, because for a child, again, safety is determined by connection with caregivers. And another moment, it's gone. And so what does this do? What does this do in a nervous system? It's a constant hypervigilance. It's a constant searching for a cue. Am I getting rejected? Is this person pulling away? Is this client pulling away? This even shows up for me in my business, in Instagram likes, and my follower count is going up or down. This monitoring, right? Constantly, hypervigilantly to check if I'm safe or not. It's not about self-worth. It's about safety. It's about constantly checking. Am I safe? Am I not safe? Because your nervous system has been wired this way. So it makes perfect sense. And it is literally, it's devastating. It's devastating to the heart. It's a constant roller coaster. And eventually, when our nervous system is in a roller coaster like that as an adult for so many years, because since it's a lifelong pattern for you, you just shut down. And one day you feel nothing. You feel disconnected. You feel disengaged. And the things that are supposed to bring you joy, like your partner, your kids, like you're around them and they're playing, or your partner says something lovely, or there's a beautiful experience, you're like traveling together, or there's like a work success. Nothing. Like you don't feel anything because your nervous system is just fried from this constant hypervigilance. And it is really sad, and it's really an experience of a heartbreak. It's a heartbreak that you've lived through for many, many, many years. And now the idea is to stop living from the survival mode, to soften the survival mode. So I'm not suggesting that overnight you're going to stop monitoring like that, both people's moods and cues, these little subtle cues from your environment. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's going to soften. The triggers are going to soften the more you heal the root. So this work is about going to the root of why you were wired in this way, and to build a new foundation for yourself so that your nervous system can begin to rewire, so that you start to build safety inside and you no longer begin to search like that and constantly monitor everything. And I just want you to think about the big shifts that can happen in your life as a result. The amount of presence you're going to experience to your life, to the good things, right? Because good things are happening, but you're not taking them in. It's really hard to take them in when you're constantly focused on searching for these cues of rejection and abandonment, because you've had them up and down in your childhood. So it's very smart that your system is doing that, but it's also completely exhausting and heartbreaking. And the heartbreak is so great that it's like, I can't do this anymore. So as this softens, you start to be able to take in the good. You start to be able to experience the joys of life and actually feel goodness out of it. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be just everyday moments of aliveness, because your nervous system is not burnt completely to the ground, right? And the difficult things don't feel as hard, right? So like rejection moments don't feel like the end of the world to you anymore. You know, like when I today face moments of my business not doing what I want it to do, of course I get upset. But I don't lay in bed for 3 days like I used to. I don't stop working. I don't stop pursuing what I want and actually enjoying the parts of my business that I enjoy. That's the shift. Everything softens. You actually get to live your life from a different lens. So that's what happens when we actually do the deep work with our nervous system, somatically with our emotions, our sensations, our needs, our desires. And this is what the unburdened heart is for. I created this program because, like you, I would do this. I would monitor constantly because I grew up with a mom like that. I would always be monitoring, and it was wrecking my life, exhausting, draining, and I attracted so many people like that into my life that would just disappear on me, that would disengage, that would become avoidant. And any cue in my business would send me off, off the edge. And so the softening of this not only brings me peace, but it allows me to take in goodness, to take in the moments of goodness, to feel aliveness, to just feel safe and relaxed in my body day to day. And it's such a gift. And this is what I'm going to walk you through in the Unburdened Heart. Week by week for 3 months. We're going to do the deep work, the deep practices that actually work, because this is not a mental game. It's not a shift of perception. It's a shift in your wiring of your nervous system. And so when we do these practices, when we work at a nervous system level, something begins to soften and your whole way of being shifts. It's not just about, one behavior or one perspective that changes or one thought, right? It's your whole way of approaching this life. And that's why this work is so incredible and so powerful and is going to stay with you for a lifetime. I know this because this work stays with my clients for a lifetime. It shifts the entire way that they show up to life. So if this speaks to you, please check out the program. My throat. Check out the program. It's going to be in the show notes with all the info. We start February 11th. It is a live program, and you can also watch the replay. It is an intimate group container, which is very special. This is not some huge space with tons of people where you can get your questions answered. It's a space where I am present with you to support you, to answer your questions, to guide you in the way that you need. And I'm so excited for this beautiful experience. If you have any questions about it, please know that you can always ask me on Instagram. I am available. And I hope this spoke to you. I hope that you're even feeling the shift in your nervous system from just listening to this episode, because listening to other people's stories can be so powerful. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to this episode. If you liked it, please make sure to leave me a review so that more beautiful humans can get to this podcast, and subscribe to the show. And please do share it with a friend who would benefit. And I always love to hear from all of you on Instagram, so visit me there at marina.y.t. I share really awesome content and would love to hear your comments about the episodes. Until next time, I love you so much and I appreciate you. Have the most beautiful day.